It's Thursday, October 7th. Coming up live on The View, they're the hottest topics in the headlines. From the surprising new list of the world's most powerful women to whether teachers and students should be Facebook friends. Plus, how celebs are taking up the fight against bullying. And it's a Behar birthday blowout. And some legends and icons are joining in on this joyous occasion. Plus, the man who steps into Joy's heels on SNL, Fred Armisen, is here with birthday wishes and revealing if he ever came face-to-face with someone he impersonated who didn't get the joke.
Who cares?
Then, Margaret Cho and Louis Van Amstel bid a tearful goodbye to Dancing with the Stars this week, but they saved the last dance for us. All that, hot topics and more, coming up live on The View.
Welcome to The View. Today is Joy's birthday.
You think if we have to pay for it?
No, I make it my own. We got to make it your own.
It's a national holiday, right?
That's right. In our world, it is.
Great, you know. I feel it's my brassieres that I have trouble with, but I feel good. They're older than you are. They are.
How do we? It's so great.
No big deal.
You have a different joy about your birthday this year, I
to the
think.
Grim Reaper, that's all it is.
No, not at all, baby.
you're enjoying
Only
it
if
this
someone
year.
has their foot out. That's how I look at it. You know, some of your most famous friends wanted to send along their very best wishes. Here it is, baby.
Okay.
Joy Behar, I want to wish you a happy birthday. You are one of the most delightful, most outspoken, but fun to watch and listen to that ever existed. And that's all there is to it.
Happy birthday, Schwa! Now, I know you don't like the big celebration and hoopla on your birthday. However, you're beloved, so we're going to celebrate it whether you like it or not. Deal with it. And besides, this day also is the birthday of Vladimir Putin, Oliver North, and Heinrich Himmler. So under the circumstances, I think we'd rather celebrate yours.
The main thing I want to know is why in the heck did you change your name from Josefina Victoria Occhiuto?
Hi Joy, it's me, Kathy Griffin, and I'm wishing you a happy birthday because you are in fact a nightmare. I'm teasing, you're a joy. So have a fantastic birthday, go have a fabulous meal, and send the check to Barbara Walters. Happy birthday!
Gave me a J, gave me an O, gave me a Y and a B. Eehaw, eehaw. Okay, no, we're not doing that.
Joy, my sweetheart, I hope you can see this because I'm recycling this tape of one of your old sex tapes. But I just want to say to you, happy birthday. You're in your 60s, and it is not the end, Joy. It is the beginning of the end. So enjoy yourself. I love you. See you soon.
Joy, Joy, it's hard to say Joy, you know, it's like Joey. Joy, Joy, Joy.
Oh, happy birthday! You're older than me. Thing. Old is when your sexual fantasies involve Andy Rooney. We have time for that. Happy birthday, my dear friend Joy.
And oh, here's one other thing I wanted to say. Some years back on October 7th, Joy was born, a little gift from heaven. Happy birthday, Joy. Anyways, that's what it's
God, my girlfriends, oh, they're so funny. Oh, aren't they funny?
Yes.
It's Himmler's birthday, Susie.
Only Susie Essman would know that. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, ladies out there.
Happy birthday, beautiful.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on.
All right, we're gonna. Now, listen, since we're in an up mood, let's talk about kissing children, kissing their parents on the lips.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, some people, you know, think that's a good idea, not so good. A mom wrote a letter to an advice column asking if she was weird for objecting to her husband kissing their daughter on the lips. Now, she called it an inappropriate sexual gesture.
How old was the daughter?
I don't know.
Who is it? Woody Allen's wife?
You know, it's very
anxious because I kiss Jeffrey on the lips, but he knows only mommy and daddy kiss you on the lips. I mean, we say smushy, and I have no problem with that. Kissing my baby
But
on
you
the
know,
lips.
when we have the discussion upstairs in the dressing room where we just decide what topics, we don't go into it. Right. We were talking about one of our producers, who shall be nameless, who takes baths with her 6-year-old son.
She's a woman.
She's a woman.
She?
Yeah, I said she takes baths. And well, yeah, I mean, if it were a guy, I wouldn't have brought it up. So then there's a point, at what point is that inappropriate? Now, for example, you say you walk around in front of Jeffrey
in my panties. Because he looks it's like a bathing suit, you know,
that's
to
okay.
Jeffrey.
What about taking baths? What about taking baths with a 6-year-old boy?
If she were a man taking a bath with a 6-year-old... Girl,
I think it's a little bit
if he would be in jail.
Well, here's the deal. Men are more practical. They know that that's just a lot more work. If you are wet and the kids are wet and you both have to get dry and lotion and clothes, it's a disaster. Getting kids their bath alone is so much more easy.
Especially if you're and this producer, I want to say, she's single, I'm single. A lot of times you don't have time, you know, because Jeffrey does that, and he's splashing, So I kind of understand her and what she's doing. You know, she doesn't have anybody helping her out with her son.
Well, he's 5, though, right?
He's 6.
See, I don't know.
The question is whether to get in the tub or not.
At 6, he could take a shower.
I think it takes more time to take the bath with him.
Shower by himself.
I think it's up to every parent. You know, you hopefully have the decent factor going on, and you know
with
what's
the man kissing the...
Wait, let me just put this out. The kid is 6 years old, who the father kissed the baby on the lips.
Sure.
The child is 6.
Oh, the child
that was
maybe
the question.
that mom just wants more kissing herself.
5, sorry.
But you know, it seems like if you, I would hate for a man not to be able to kiss his daughter on the lips, because you know every little girl thinks their father's Superman, and to take away that innocence and that purity. But you know, I think a lot of people, it depends on your issues. If you have issues of something in happening to you as a young girl, you might have a bit of a filter when you look at something like that. A man kissing a little girl on the lips.
I have to say,
I don't know.
As long as he's not tongue kissing the child, and it's his child, then I think it's a loving thing. Now, if he's kissing her like he's kissing a 42-year-old woman, yeah, there's an issue.
Yeah, that's
you know.
an issue.
Can I just say one thing about taking baths?
About the taking baths.
Taking baths. If it's the same sex, that is, the mother and the daughter and the father and the son taking a bath together when the kids are very little, it's a very good thing. I used to do this with my daughter, in part because she was adopted, and it was a way for me to explain bodies and so forth, and to explain sex to little kids. So if it's the same sex, aside from the fact that the water gets dirty and you don't get very clean yourself, I think it's a very good and very sweet and very bonding thing.
At what point do the children start comparing their bodies to their father's bodies? Like a boy with a
I think little boys, as soon as they see their dad's body, they want to know what's going to happen. I mean, they need to have that info.
Jeffrey, because his father taught him to go to the potty, he now goes and he will stand against the wall and hold his hand out against the wall like this. Because I guess
is he testifying?
He holds
up against the wall.
Like some guys hold the wall, like the urinal, and he does it. They pick up stuff from there. I don't want to be like that.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Mommy advice.
There we are. Some folks think it's okay as long as it's not overly. As long as it's not sexual.
You got to be able to know your child and sense when they're feeling like, you know, it gets a little bit more. If you're kissing your child on the lips and
this excuse that you don't have time to take a shower separately from the kid is ridiculous.
No, it's not ridiculous.
Kids go swimming. They go into showers after they get out of the pool by themselves.
No, they don't get out of the pool by themselves.
It's more time if you're in the bath with the kid. It's more about, do you want, is it an intimacy thing? Is it a time for sharing? Which I think it can be. I think it just depends. Every situation is unique and the age of the child.
Every situation is different. Yeah. So we move on. You know, recent tragedies and incidents have gay bullying all over the headlines, and a lot of celebrities are doing their part to condemn it in any way they can. But didn't you think we were becoming sort of more tolerant in society with each other, and now suddenly there's this whole sort of upsurge of gay bullying? And, you know, not to say that bullying is any less different if it's gay bullying, but just bullying in general.
Yeah, I think, you know, on the heels of this awful tragedy that we've been hearing about in the teen suicide, I think even on Dancing with the Stars, we have Margaret Cho and Louis on today, and their last dance actually dedicated and made sure that they were making a moment to say, hey, this has got to stop. I thought that was courageous of them. I think, too, it happens more in numbers. I think with the social networking that we have now, people can really rally in a way that's just, it's like infectious,
but, you know? Sometimes when there is more tolerance, people get desperate and their backs are against the wall. Look at it, it's really going to change, and they're scared. And when people are scared, they attack. And I think that might have a part in it right now.
You know what, following up what you're saying, part of this is also, you know, you and I were saying, well, why is it more now? We thought we haven't had this kind of violence in 10 years. Why should there not be more tolerance? But you've got laws now that are coming up that scare people. Gay marriage, don't ask, don't tell. And then the question is, well, what can you do about it? And Frank Lautenberg, who is the senator from New Jersey, the state that young man committed suicide from, he wants a bill. It's an interesting bill. He says that will require colleges and universities that receive federal student aid to create policies prohibiting harassment of any student. I don't know what policies you create, but if you're getting federal money, he wants that to be part of the
Well, if you're in college, let's say, and you're getting student loans, or you're getting federal aid, and then you're caught bullying a kid, maybe they should stop the money at that point.
That's
you
what
don't
he's
deserve
saying.
it anymore.
That's what he's saying.
So that would be a way for the college to enforce it. I don't think the state should enforce it.
That's what he's saying. He said the college. That's what the bill would be, the college or university.
A question that I put out.
Maybe you should just have classes that discuss this in general,
Well,
the way, we now have classes in sexual conduct.
In elementary school.
And now we're talking about this so much more. We're talking about Prop 8. We're talking about, you know, people adopting children, and now it's out there. A lot of times when something is out there so much, you get that good and you get that bad coming through. You get more hate crimes. I'm saying things like, you know, you got a black president. Now we say, gosh, it's more racism and overt racism than we've ever seen because it's right there on the surface.
They're coming out of the woodwork.
That's what I'm saying about gay bullying. Now it's coming out of the surface. We are trying to get this don't tell, don't ask policy out of here. And so now you got these.
Well, you have this guy, Senator Jim DeMint, who is basically preaching that women who are pregnant and unmarried should not be allowed to teach, and homosexuals should not be allowed to teach. This is a guy who's in the United States Senator. When you're filtering that kind of message to these idiots in these places where people are ignorant,
you know, these places
well, these kids come from obviously some ignorance.
Right, ignorant. Right, absolutely. I just wanted to make sure you weren't
hear somebody like that preaching against it. They think, you know, they're entitled to do something about it.
Having done stories on gay children and transgender children, and the amount of suicides that there were from these children when they're not accepted by their own families, it starts in the home.
It does.
The understanding, the acceptance. You can't combat every mean kid in school, but you can at least give your child, accept your own child.
But I guess that what we're saying is, you know, it's not just gay folks who are feeling the sting of this bullying. This bullying is happening with straight kids, black kids, white kids, Italian kids, kids who are different. And we, as the adults in society, have to present a different message, which we're trying to do.
It's a strong one. Tim Gunn's message, too, I thought was so powerful to hear that he went through this, and you're not alone. I think that's what the kids need to hear. You're not alone.
A lot of people now putting this on YouTube. This, you know, don't try this, don't do this.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, if anybody out there is a kid who's watching us and you're thinking about taking yourself out, stop, take a breath, make a phone call. Go to the internet. There are a lot of places that can talk you out of what you're about to do, because once you do it, it's done. You can't make a comeback.
Or if you're thinking,
and it's over.
If you're thinking of bullying someone like this kid did in New Jersey, who's going to probably end up in jail, think about that, too.
Yeah, I mean, there are consequences, and now, thank God, they're starting to come out. People are starting to find out that people are not going to take this. But you know what? We're not going to take it either. So we're going and coming back with more Hot Topics because we're that deep. Of over 11,000 children found that moms who were light drinkers while pregnant were less likely to have kids with behavioral, emotional, or intellectual problems than moms who didn't.
I've been told that if you have a drink, if you see a woman drinking a glass of wine or a martini, you go, oh, terrible, terrible. And now you find out they can have like 2 glasses of wine a week. I mean, it's so confusing. a week. It doesn't mean you got to go belly up.
Well, not 2 glasses of wine and a martini. No, it's 2 glasses of wine a week. I mean, that's what I always heard, that, you know, everything was in moderation. You didn't want to have, you know, you wouldn't drink every day, but you wanted to have a glass of wine on occasion.
You know, the women years ago was like, I smoked, I drank, and my kids are perfectly normal. No, they're not, okay? They're not normal.
Well, not necessarily for that, you know. But, you know, I know you were going to discuss it later, but it sort of follows under the same thing, and that is the ban that Mayor Bloomberg wants to have on that you can't use.
If you are a recipient of food stamps, Mayor Bloomberg feels that you should not be able to buy sugary drinks or soda with the food stamps, which I think is kind of ridiculous.
Because he says it causes obesity.
But, you know, it causes obesity. But so are we saying that only poor folks are obese? I mean, because that's what it sounds like when you say if you have food stamps, because not all people on food stamps have obese children. And I don't like that. Either everybody gets the ban or nobody gets the ban.
I don't think so. If the government is paying for something, then they do have a right to maybe say what it is they're paying.
He can control. But then the question is, does the government have the right, you know, we're into the whole thing. Does the government have the right to tell you what to eat?
Subsidizes sugar. The government subsidizes tobacco, corn. So they're in your food anyway. The government.
But I think if you are saying
you wanting less government, I love this. On your birthday, this is great.
Just be consistent. That's all I ask. Be consistent.
But go ahead, Joy. I'm sorry, Sherry.
No,
you look so much alike.
I feel that with the food stamps, they're saying we're not going to contribute to this. We keep screaming about, you know, somebody's got to do something about childhood obesity. Do it. And I think if we're going to provide the food stamps,
you know what? They're not doing that. They are saying these people. As soon as you say people, yes. As soon as you give, listen.
What are you saying?
You're saying folks who are either having a hard time or on welfare. Right. You're pretty much saying, you all are the issue. Either knock it off for everybody, like you're trying to do with cigarettes, you know, because you're worried about the health, stop selling the cigarettes. But they're not going to do that. Stop selling the drinks. If you think there's an issue with the sugar and stuff, you know, you're saying because you're poor, you don't have
everybody else. If you're paying for it with your own dollar, they're saying you go ahead and buy it with your own dollar. If you're using my dollar, I'm going to tell you how to use it.
But then you're assuming that everyone who gets food stamps is obese and their children are obese. And I'm a former welfare parent, and I'm telling you, it's not so.
I don't think anyone believes that. I don't think that's true.
What they are also trying to do is to not just make it on food stamps. What they are trying to do is to get permission from the Department of Agriculture to ban this or to control this so that it would affect everybody.
That would be nice.
And that's the way, after all, it was Mayor Bloomberg who stopped cigarettes. Everybody, the most terrible thing. People will move out of the state. So one has to give him credit for trying. Right. Food stamps is something that they have control over. They can't control and tell you what you can or cannot buy. So they're trying. They are trying to make it broader.
I would give him. You know, I love our mayor. I love our mayor. But my feeling is very, very specific about when you start to ban stuff. If you're going to ban cigarettes, stop selling them. Because you're not stopping the selling because the state and the city needs the revenue. So they're not going to stop selling cigarettes, but they're going to keep...
Should they tax the soda? Should they tax the soda?
I don't know. Listen, the cigarettes in New York are like $45.
I know.
$45 a pack.
I remember when they were 50 cents a pack. That's how old I am.
Which is a good idea. See, that, you can't buy alcohol and you can't buy... But are they going to... Is he willing to say all... Because you know how I feel about corn syrup. I love my corn, but corn syrup bothers me. Yeah. So are they going to say, you know, anything that's made with corn syrup is questionable? You can't put that in.
It's very hard to get rid of it.
But do you do a big blanket all at one time, or do you do one step at a time?
I don't think that starting with folks who are on food stamps, because again, it's a stigma. Suddenly you go in and you can't buy soda and everybody knows you're on food stamps. Not everybody wants that business out there. You got to think a little bit more. Maybe there's more to do. But you know what? We're going to go and come back because we got to do our hair.
That's an interesting
districts are struggling to draw up a policy on teachers and students interacting online. So should teachers and students be Facebook friends? I mean, does it cross a barrier? What do you... I
think it does. I think by virtue of it being called a social network, it's like if you go to a club, if you go to a bar, you socialize with your friends. You would not take your kids to... You would not associate with kids at a club or a bar. It's just like what you do in real life. I don't think it's appropriate for your kids to be knowing what's going on in your personal life. And that's what Facebook is.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you on that. Facebook just came up with have you tried the new groups? Is that established?
Yeah,
and they started like groups where you can actually have a set group of people who can log on and off. And I think that there could be potential there for something good to come out of this if, in fact, it's controlled by the schools. And if it's an open form, transparent communication where it can be used for tutoring and it can be used for extra help, that it's open to the school, parents, and students to all see the conversations
like maybe a school kind of Facebook thing.
Do kids want to go on their teachers' Facebook?
Yes, they do.
And the teachers want to go on the kids' Facebook to say what?
Some teachers do. You know, you share information.
I went to the movies. I did.
Yeah, it should not be used for that. And I think it's dangerous when it gets into that category.
Here, the school does not allow them to befriend the kids. And it's like you should be able to have a personal life. I just don't want my kids to know about it because what I signed on for my kid to know is reading, writing, and spelling. Not that you've been on the stripper pole.
Isn't that also the parents' job to make sure that the child? Because as a teacher, I would want to have my social network page that belongs to me.
That's what I'm saying. And you should be able to.
And so I think that if you're going to do like the teachers' Facebook for the school, that should be a separate thing.
But you should be able to have an entirely separate thing because even if you have your social life, you wouldn't necessarily take a bunch of 11-year-olds with you.
No, but I don't think any teachers are wanting 11-year-olds to come. But I
think that should be a Facebook page for schools should be completely separate.
To me, teachers should be a non-entity like a psychiatrist. I mean, and your ex-husband. I mean, seriously, it's like we don't need to know their lives. They are teaching you.
Yes.
When I was studying to be a teacher, I learned this phrase, telling, this is how it goes, telling is not teaching. So if you tell somebody, Columbus was born in whatever year, 1492, or he came over here, that is not enough. That is not teaching. The behavioral change is teaching, is learning.
Okay, but what you're saying is...
I say do not give them information about yourself.
They
should be a blank slate, the teacher.
But wait a minute, teachers are not saying go on to my Facebook page. At least I didn't understand that.
If they accept them as a friend, then that means that child is privy to everything that you put out if you're befriended. And they should not be able to be your friend.
Also that the teacher is privy to everything that's going on with the child as well, and can maybe help the parents figure it out. And maybe there has to be more discussion.
If there's no protection there needs to be protection for minors as an ultimate priority. And if it's not there, it shouldn't occur.
Speaking of protection, Elizabeth.
Yes, protection. Protect your chest. Here we go. Saks Fifth Avenue has launched their annual Key to the Cure campaign, working with designer Donna Karan and ambassador Uma Thurman with this T-shirt that retails for $35. 100% of the proceeds are being donated to women's cancer charity partners and sold at Saks Fifth Avenue and Saks.com. For more information, just check out our website.
Oh, that's
Protect your
nice.
bosoms.
Protect your bosoms. And if you happen to be in the city or in New Jersey, I'm signing my new book, Is It Just Me? Today at Columbus Circle Borders here in the city at 1 o'clock, and at Barnes, in the Time Warner Bar, and Barnes & Noble in Clifton, New Jersey at 6:30. And if you happen to be in Atlantic City on the weekend, then come see me at the Tropicana. And that's all you're going to hear from me.
That book is great. You're going to laugh.
We will be right back with SNL's Fred Armisen.
No.
I hate doing that.
You know what movie I like? Up in the Air. Because it reminds me of where my boobs used to be.
Did you really like Up in the Air, or did you just want to set up that joke?
That was just for the joke. So what? Who cares?
Oh, gosh. In honor of Joy's birthday, we have invited on the only SNL cast member man enough to step into Joy's heels. Please welcome Fred Armisen.
like Joy.
No, he doesn't.
No, a little bit.
In some strange way, he does. He could be my son or my brother.
Yeah, let's see.
Hopefully my
Without the
brother.
glasses, there's kind of a...
Not really.
It's almost... I brought you a little something. Happy birthday, Joy.
Oh, thank you. That's so... Shall I open it?
Yeah, open it.
Yes. Birthday wrapping.
Oh, it's me and Fred.
Seriously, someone cares.
I will treasure this. This and my picture with President Obama on my two faves.
Good.
That's so cute. Thank you.
He does. Wait, what did it say?
It says to Joy, seriously. So what? Who cares? With love, Fred Armisen. Thank you.
Yeah. You got, Fred, you got to tell us. Because we love, when you do Joy, we love it so much when it's on SNL. How did you come to play Joy Behar?
I was just, you know, I do watch the show, and I love the show. I've been watching for years, and it's one of those things where I was just watching, and I just knew that I could do it. I just was like, I can do Joy. I just, because I love Joy's attitude, too. The so what, who cares? Even though it's kind of made up, I love that that's the angle you take on
It's like
things.
don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
It's another version of that, I guess. Yeah.
That's a good way to be.
We love your take on her, and we have some more bits of you playing her. Take a look.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
Bush was an idiot. I said it, so what? My doctor told me that I have so much upper arm fat that if I was pushed out of a tree, I would glide. Like a squirrel. Who cares? So what? Don't ask me how I keep my shape. And I won't tell you that I wear 4 pairs of Spanx. You know what I always say? You know what I say? Who cares?
Who cares? But he has. You're doing this
The
all the
twitch.
time. You're always
very twitchy. That's how I don't gain too much weight.
Right.
You know, Danny DeVito told me that he and his daughter Lucy walk around the house saying, so what, who cares? So what, who cares? Danny DeVito, yes.
Are there going to be more View things?
Yeah, we'll do some more. We'll just keep doing it. Those are also written by James Anderson. I wanted to. There's writers who are behind it.
The whole all the sketches of all of us, I think, are funny.
Well, another thing that you've gotten a little bit of flack over your impersonation of David Patterson.
It's really good, by the way.
Tell them why.
Because of, you know, with him being partially blind, and he's a governor of New York. Well, he's a governor of New York, and 2 weeks ago he joined you on Weekend Update.
Yeah.
So let's take a look.
And he's blind.
I don't stop the car every time I hear someone honk. True, when honks get loud enough, I know it's time to swerve. But that doesn't stop me from getting behind the wheel.
Stop, stop, stop. So I see you're still sporting the beard.
Yes.
You know, I shaved that off a year ago. Are you blind?
Touche.
We're all laughing. But it took a lot of courage, first of all, for Governor Patterson to come on. But beyond that, because you were making fun of someone's affliction. I mean, he is blind. And was there a lot of discussion about, should we do him? Are we going to hear from, you know, different people and groups?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was his own character, so it's like a version of him. And we thought it would be more insulting to not address it, to treat it as something that didn't exist.
Well, you didn't have to treat it at all.
Well, that's true. We, but did we did.
SNL takes no prisoners, Barbara.
That's right, including our own President Barack Obama.
Right. Yeah.
Check this out.
Today, my administration says goodbye to a friend, a fighter, a warrior, a man you want in your corner when the going gets rough. You know him as Rahm Emanuel, but to me, he will always be Rambo.
Were there any nerves? Were the nerves a little bit more anxious when you have to play the president, or no?
Are there any?
Yeah, do you get a little more anxious when you have to play the president?
Well, the writers make it in such a way that they make it very easy. So everything is like set for you, and they try to get like all his, you know, the Jim Downey writes those, and the way he speaks and the words that he uses.
Did you ever hear from him?
No, I met him before I started doing him, and he was really cool and
You
really
are
nice.
continuing the impersonation of him, right?
Yeah,
you are
we're
the
doing
person
it,
who's going to do it.
Yeah,
Because there
we did it
was
the other day.
rumblings, no, somebody else is doing it, but not. You're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I do as Lauren Michaels wants me to do, you know. So, I mean, I just try to...
He's the boss.
And you know what? Again, you know, you've been on Joy's show on HLN.
Yes.
So
Yes,
we get to see Joy here.
Yeah.
Is she different over on HLN?
She is absolutely different because your voice is lower on that show. Because
I'm a man over there. That's why.
I think you're trying to shout above everyone here, but on your show it's really interesting. It's like a little bit lower. And it's like a little bit slower.
They always ask me, what do you do after The View? I get a sex change operation.
But you're great on there.
Someone who cares. Yeah.
Somebody made the observation that they thought that maybe you were more comfortable playing characters than playing yourself. I get that, but can you explain it a little bit?
You know, it's just the sound of my own voice. It's like, it's easier for me to be somebody else than even here, just to hear what I sound like.
What would you like to be that you're not? Anybody else?
I'd like to be Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by him. He's just the way that he presents all his new products, and there's something about there's like a showmanship to it and a confidence that I think is just brilliant.
You have another project though.
I do, yeah.
With Lauren?
It's with Lauren. I'm doing a show called Portlandia, and it's going to be on IFC in January. And
what's it about?
It's about Portland, Oregon. And I play different characters on there, and my friend Carrie Brownstein's on it as well. And
it's great.
Yeah, so it's like sketches as well.
Well, Fred, thank you so much for coming by and helping us celebrate Joy's birthday. Check out Fred on Saturday Night Live, and when we come back, Dancing with the Stars cast out with Margaret Cho and her partner are getting down one last time on our stage.
This looks like a wedding cake, not for nothing.
Blow out your candles.
Okay, let me blow.
Many more years together. Woo!
Mazel tov, mazel tov.
Time to enjoy the view.
This incredible season of Grey's Anatomy continues tonight at 9, 8 Central on ABC.